To start off our documentary, we decided to gather information on racism in the county of Castle Point, how it affected the local area, and how the local area has changed.
There's a lot of immigrants that live in these areas. They seem to put them in these areas, and there's no money in these areas.
We then interviewed a younger schoolgirl from Castle Point about how it affected her.
But discrimination was your actual question.
Yeah.
Like I said, some people, yeah, I think we do it to ourselves. But then I do think a lot of things we just can't help. Like there are some people who will just always hate black people.
We then interviewed a Polish teacher from a local school. However, she preferred not to have her face featured.
Do you ever get offended when people that aren't your friends say things? Like everyone says, like Polish people, like Eastern European people come and take English jobs. Does that offend you?
It does offend me because it's not true. The truth is that there are people coming to this country, they're working hard, they're studying, and they are offered jobs. So I think it's about, you know, who is better in what job, rather than seeing it as you're taking somebody else's job.
Do you get a lot? Do you like racially attacked?
Not of recent, this is what I'm saying, like when I was growing up I got it a lot. Like there was a good chunk of my life where it was actually ridiculous.
Where do you live?
Hence why I'm like how I am now.
Yeah.
Now I'm worried sometimes that I will still have my job in the future. Some people they laugh at me because or they use stereotypes, that they say "du eat escargot" or snacks, and I say, "Oh no, obviously not."
I don't think we're now in the stage where nobody wants to sit around and wait for something to happen. Like especially what's been going, the crazy stuff that's been going on in America. Like I know black people over here are like, not my country, like not here. Like, and they just won't let it happen. Like I'm not saying we're like that powerful, like we can't, it won't ever happen. But I don't think it took us to leave the EU for people to have those thoughts. They always had them.
18 days out from the election, you've been labelled a racist, you've been called a sexist. How do you respond to that?
I am the least racist person you've ever met.
From this report, we can see that the political views of Nigel Farage have influenced people across the world. People like Donald Trump have been influenced by the views of Nigel Farage and his apparent radical ideology.
Sometimes I feel uncomfortable in certain groups, knowing that this area in particular voted very strongly against Brexit makes me feel that I'm not welcome anymore to live and work in this area. So it makes me think maybe there has to be a change on where I live, so I'm comfortable.
After the Brexit vote and the decision for the UK to leave the EU, there have been a number of racist incidents reported, not just on social media, but actual cases where people have dealt with those discriminating against them.
Because like before, like, okay, I'll give you an example. I went to North London, to quite a highly Jewish area, mainly like white people. And I went into a shop and it was for photography, because at the time I was going to do different cultures, that was my topic. I've changed it now, but that's what I was going to do. And this guy's shop was open, and I walked in and I said, I just want to take a picture of your shop, and he was like, we're closed. And I was like, oh no, I just want to take a picture, no, we're closed. Me and my mum walk out, we turn around, two white people walk in, and he's not closed then. But because we've walked in and asked to take a picture, and you can't help but think, what is the difference between me and that person, my race? Right, cool.
Does it offend you?
Of course it does.
It does.
Like how can you, like you won't, does it offend me? Yes. Does it affect me? Not anymore.
Do you think Brexit has affected racism in the UK?
It definitely has. There were recent accidents in Essex, in Harlow, where people lost their lives or ended up in hospital. And I think, again, this is misunderstanding of immigration and of the problem that Brexit is trying to pursue. It's not an immigration, it's not racist, but it definitely had a negative influence of how we perceive other cultures in the UK.
And do you think racism has increased or decreased since Brexit?
It is definitely increased. I've seen from figures and I've heard from police reports that it's definitely increased. People feel now that it is okay to make inappropriate comments because they see the leaders do it, or say that there is a group of people to blame for things. So I think it will continue to increase and tolerance will decrease.
We took to the streets of Castle Point to interview a passionate member of Vote Leave.
What did you vote for?
Out. Voted out.
Why was that?
Get the immigrants out.
Isn't that a little bit racist?
No, they're taking our house, our job.
Yeah, but what do you think about the NHS? Because if we leave the EU, we lose the NHS.
I don't know.
Would you say you're a racist?
No, I'm not racist. Just want the people out.
Isn't that racist though?
No.
Even after the result of Brexit, Nigel Farage disputed the wait for the UK to leave the EU. So he decided to create a 100,000 people march to the Supreme Court to try and reduce the leave period.
So like, there are people who treat me normally, do you know what I mean? They don't look at me and go, black girl. But then obviously if you don't know someone, you do automatically judge them by what they look like. Like, everyone does that. So like, you do get the security guard like following you around in the shop because they just assume you're going to take something. Like,
over the recent years, the number of recent racial incidents in England and Wales has increased dramatically. More than 130 a day, creating 47,000 incidents reported in 2013 to 2014.
Now let me give you some specific examples of what's happened over the weekend. Police in West London were investigating what they called a racially motivated attack against the Polish Social and Cultural Association. The organization's building was apparently defaced with graffiti that said "Go home."
Those differences should be made as soon as it's possible to educate children that there's nothing wrong being black coloured skin. There is nothing wrong in speaking the language in front of you. There's nothing wrong coming from a little country somewhere on the other side of the world. We're all the same.
I think sometimes people simplify racism. I think they think it is a matter of black or white, and they think it is just your skin color, whereas in fact I think there is a lot of more subtle racism in England, especially against people from European countries who are white. But there are very good comments and ideas about them.
We received a radio call from a disgruntled member of UKIP.
We are the only political party in this country who wants Britain to leave the European Union and are serious about reducing immigration numbers into this country. And every single local council in this country is under massive pressure. Housing. You know, we have to build a new house every 7 minutes just to cope with current immigration levels. And every other public service is under pressure because of the rapid increase in our population.
This graph clearly shows the religious and racial aggravation before and after the EU referendum.
but discrimination was your actual question. Yeah. Like I said, some people, yeah, I think we do it to ourselves, but then I do think a lot of things we just can't help. Like there are some people who will just always hate black people.
Say no to racism.